Niccolò Machiavelli, the Renaissance-era thinker often misunderstood as purely manipulative or sinister, was in fact a master observer of human nature. He studied power not as an ideal, but as a reality. He saw the world not as it should be, but as it is. He didn't write fairy tales. He wrote brutal truths, and from those truths emerged guidelines, not only for ruling nations, but for ruling oneself. In this powerful discourse, we explore 10 behaviors that Machiavelli would classify as intolerable, unacceptable, and unforgivable. Behaviors that erode power, invite betrayal, and destroy respect. If you tolerate these, you risk losing control of your life, your relationships, and your destiny. These are not merely mistakes. They're self-inflicted wounds. And a man who tolerates them becomes a man others manipulate, mock, or forget. Let us begin. 1. Weakness masquerading as kindness. Machiavelli warned us, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Many today confuse kindness with weakness. They offer endless chances, avoid confrontation, and forgive too quickly, all in the name of being nice. But niceness without boundaries is surrender. When you tolerate being walked over, you don't earn admiration, you earn disdain. If you allow others to exploit your kindness, you're not kind. You are weak, and weakness, Machiavelli observed, invites not love but contempt. Do not mistake passivity for virtue. Do not confuse tolerance with morality. A man who does not stand up for himself will find no one standing with him when he falls. 2. Disloyalty in close circles. There is no deeper betrayal than disloyalty from those within your walls. Machiavelli wrote extensively about the importance of loyalty in political alliances, friendships, and military command. Betrayal from within is the deadliest kind. If someone you trust lies to you, sabotages your plans, mocks your success behind closed doors, that is not a mistake. It is a declaration of war. Tolerating it teaches others that loyalty is optional. That betrayal has no consequence. In a Machiavellian sense, the swift removal of disloyal individuals is not cruelty, it is wisdom. 3. Repeated disrespect. Disrespect is a signal. It is a signal that someone does not value you, your time, or your presence. Machiavelli taught that rulers must demand respect to maintain order. The same principle applies to individuals. If someone repeatedly talks over you, interrupts, insults, or disregards your opinions, and you allow it, you send a message. I accept this. People treat you how you train them to treat you. Tolerating repeated disrespect is unforgivable not only because it diminishes your power, but because it invites more of it. 4. Manipulation disguised as help. Beware of those who come offering help with strings attached. Machiavelli understood that men do not act purely out of benevolence. They often seek leverage. A person who helps you today, but expects control over your choices tomorrow, is not a friend. They are a silent tyrant. Do not tolerate emotional blackmail, guilt-tripping, or the weaponization of favors. Machiavelli believed in using others strategically, not being used. Recognize the wolf in sheep's clothing and remove them before they feast on your spirit. 5. Envy in disguise. Envy is a silent poison. Machiavelli recognized it as one of the most destructive forces in court politics, and it is no less deadly in modern life. The envious friend congratulates you with a clenched jaw. They support you until your success reminds them of their own failures. They may sabotage you subtly, discouraging your ambition, planting doubts, minimizing your achievements. If you tolerate envy disguised as friendship, you welcome sabotage into your inner circle. Cut envy at the root. Do not explain, do not justify. Distance and silence are your weapons. 6. Indecisiveness in leadership. A ruler who cannot decide invites rebellion. A man who hesitates invites conquest. Machiavelli stressed the importance of decisiveness in seizing and maintaining power. Tolerating your own indecisiveness or following those who constantly waver is self-destruction. The world does not wait for the hesitant. Neither do women. Neither does power. You must learn to act, and act with finality. A wrong decision is sometimes better than no decision. 7. Excuses replacing results. Men who constantly explain their failures with excuses have already surrendered. Machiavelli believed that fortune favors the bold, not the apologetic. Life rewards results, not intentions. When you tolerate others making excuses instead of delivering results, or worse, when you do it, you set a tone of mediocrity. Excuses breed weakness, and weakness becomes a habit. Tolerate results only, not reasons. Reasons do not build empires. 8. Overfamiliarity that breeds contempt. Machiavelli warned, excessive familiarity with subordinates or citizens erodes authority. He understood the law of human psychology. People do not respect what they feel overly comfortable with. This applies to relationships too. When you allow people too much access, too quickly, too cheaply, they begin to devalue you. Mystery dies. Respect fades. Do not make yourself too available. Limit access. Make your presence a reward, not a routine. 9. Cowardice in the face of injustice. Machiavelli may have championed cunning, but never cowardice. Injustice tolerated is justice surrendered. When you see wrongs and remain silent. When you watch betrayal, abuse, or corruption and justify your inaction, you become complicit. You must not tolerate cowardice in yourself, nor in those around you. A man of power defends truth not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Courage is not always loud. Sometimes it is simply the refusal to remain silent. 10. Self-betrayal through inaction. Finally, the most unforgivable behavior of all, betraying yourself. You know what you must do. You feel the call to rise, to grow, to dominate your path, and yet you hesitate. You distract yourself. You numb your potential with comfort and delay. Machiavelli believed that a prince must act in ways that maintain his rule and expand his power, and the same applies to you. Tolerating your own inaction, your own laziness, your own excuses is betrayal. No enemy can conquer a man more than he conquers himself through neglect. Discipline, action, evolution, these are your weapons. These 10 unforgivable behaviors are not just flaws in others. They are often reflections of ourselves. If you recognize them, do not despair. Act. The Machiavellian path is not one of moral perfection. It is one of strategic self-respect. Refuse to be used. Refuse to be disrespected. Refuse to betray yourself. Niccolò Machiavelli gave us the map. The courage to follow it is yours alone. You do not need to be ruthless to command respect, but you must never be passive. The man who tolerates everything stands for nothing, and the man who stands for nothing falls for anything. Be feared if you cannot be both. Be respected always, and tolerate nothing that weakens your soul. This is the Machiavelli Guide.